Hello and welcome. It is the 8th day of May 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. Bitcoin, all bets, trades of the like within each zone risk reward. It's in at almost 5,900 at areas first seen back in October of 2017. And then support, support, support. Oh, just support in this area. And now we're seeing again for the first time since all those previous ones, and only those previous ones as well. Moving on now to Bitcoin dominance. This is the chart, and I'm just going to scroll this back so we can see it where we span for today's time frame. So therefore, this we just put in. Well, this is 40 here. So the 40% line is here, and the 60% line is here. And the 50% line is in this middle area, which would be about somewhere around here. And it's been above the 50% number now for quite some time, as it is nearing over 60% dominance. So, in looking at such, for the longest time beforehand, Bitcoin was at the 80% number and much higher, and it went down in 2017. And since each low, what it had a tremendous move from here to here in volatility standards, and a tremendous move back. And then, why is my mouse not showing me? This sucks. Okay, I think I got it now. MS Paint's not that great, but it works. So this low in here, but since that point, it's been higher highs and higher lows. This high, this low, but lately, it's been establishing this area of resistance. Let me just get rid of many of these drawing tools. And within it, okay, do we have a tremendous one that still makes a lower high? Is it the end of altcoins? Is this going to go way back up above here? And are we possibly in jeopardy of breaking down below this low as well? If it does break below this low, that means the altcoins that are going to be winning, they're going to be tremendous trades, and most likely, almost definitely, with other coins that work out as well, trading them together along the way will probably be tremendous. And when this goes down, that means the altcoins should be going up. So then, we look at the dates in here. What are some of the key times that this switched over? Well, the first one and the largest one from the beginning one, right in here. And this occurred, that would have been around the March rally of 2017. And this went all the way down until June, July, was when all these markets were topping against Bitcoin. And then what was going on from point low to point high? And when was point high? Well, that was December of 2017. So during this point in here, from here to here, altcoins were getting their ass kicked against Bitcoin, doing poor. Altcoins were doing amazing against Bitcoin. This is when they were getting their ass kicked up in here. So throughout for the July to like December the 1st, Bitcoin was dominating. And at the very end of this was a case of Bitcoin going from like 10,000 to 20,000. And down in here, this was Bitcoin going from 20,000 down to about 14,000, 15,000 even. And then Bitcoin coming back up to 17, 18. But during this time that brought it way down, that was a period on December 2017 probably around the 10th on for the average coin, around the December the 10th. Some earlier, and even some probably later, but around that time frame, all the way up to around January 15th. And some obviously give or take, obviously, tremendous gains. 5x for this coin, 9x for that coin against Bitcoin. It was 12x. It was tremendously large gains. And during this point, when the market was going down, that was when you should be selling altcoins for Bitcoin. And then where do we see it in here? We got this key low, this key high, and really a long correctionary phase since key low to key high. And of course, now starting to rally back up to this upper part. So the low in here is 2018. It's a little bit after that April Fool's rally. So that would have been about May the 1st or so of 2018, all the way to what looks like in here the fall, October, November. That's when the altcoins stopped going down. And since that point, they really didn't go up against Bitcoin too much. It's been nothing more than this sideways range. So, what would constitute a big move up, big move down? Well, a big move down would be it'd be altcoins just dominating, and most likely Bitcoin would remain in an uptrend as well, but obviously nowhere near the rate of ascent that Ethereum, Litecoin, and all the other ones would be doing along the way. Now, in this case, there is a couple of ways that I see this going up here. Number one is a tiny decline for Bitcoin. Maybe it goes back down to 3,000, 3,400, 3,600. Well, other altcoins just go down so bad. So Bitcoin loses 20, 30%, everything else loses 60, 70, 80%. Maybe not too likely. And one of it might be what occurred during the last time, or the first time it had this tremendous rally in here. A case where Bitcoin has tremendous gains, where the altcoins don't follow suit. So a spot where we see Bitcoin at 6,000, it reaches 10, 11, 12, 13,000, doubling, and other coins against the dollar hang in there, basically. Oh, it's up 6.5% or 12% or 20%. Bitcoin's up 100. That one's down 5%. So on and so forth. But I'm not really trying to predict what it's going to be. And I mean, whatever. But it's not like I'm going to look at the data, analyze it. Oh, I see this. Let's make a bet on this. No, I'm not doing that. But I realize that when these markets do those types of things, if this goes straight up, then most likely if this goes to 10, 12,000, other coins again hang in there, like I say. After that, I wouldn't be surprised if altcoins go up and Bitcoin barely goes up or goes sideways. So things like that can happen. And whenever that happens, I'll just adjust my orders for what I'm looking to do within the trade. So as far as Bitcoin is concerned now, the setup for what we see in here to me is super duper strong. I don't like using that extra word, but I did. I did. Yesterday's session had the Binance situation where they had a security breach for a significant amount, 40 million, which represents 2% of their $2 billion, at least Bitcoin or overall company worth bankroll. And everything seems to be going fine. I'm still curious to see what's going on with. I mean, that's a pretty big scam. That's a pretty big crime. So those who stole it, like, how are they going to account for that? Details I'm going to be trying to look forward to researching over the next several days. And after this point, because this down move, this red candle move, seeing it go from 59 to like 56.50. Oh, it goes down like 200 and change on that news, and it's recovered all of it, 100% of its losses from the Binance news. has been taken into place. And it's just been grinding its way up ever since it's gotten above this 18 average of highs at 7 o'clock this morning. It has just continuously, hour after hour, pretty much supported the 18 lows most times. This one in here, it left it off from it. It almost came down to it. This one, barely below it here, barely below it here, barely below it here, barely below it here. Pause period above it, so it close, and now this one is done it so far. Meanwhile, since the move on the 11 o'clock hour, where it established resistance at 59.06, it then later reestablished it up to 59.13 the next hour. This period is 59.13 change. Okay, strengthening it. Next hour 59.08. Next hour after that 59.10. 59.10 is a major level on the short-term time frame. As this pattern, it's running out of steam for it's not making higher highs, and that's what uptrends are supposed to do. But it's still again supporting this low. Any fast move, 18 average of lows on this is at about 58, 54. But short term, it's you'd be looking to come in somewhere to that area. I wouldn't try to predict where it would be if any kind of significant move is to come into place. But as it goes, it's been working out as a slow move. Usually these markets pierce extra. Right now it's a pierce lower. Oh, but it's probably still going to make its way up towards 67, 68 before we see any type of decent declines. That's how I'm looking at it because back in here, okay, that's not what I wanted to do. I drew a line. I'm trying to uh, push the market back like this. See, back at this stage in here, it already had this level of resistance, which technically I was looking at it after this low. So this period, it hits it, hits it, hits it, leaves it, hits it, comes back, in every single period from this move, each one forward. Oh, and you get there, you're getting closer. Your green candle up every single time, higher high every single time, barely, and then okay, this one we hit it again, and you know if you break it, you're going to 48.50, and you did it in one period. So therefore, when you see that, I'm like, okay, it's pierced well extra. So it's either going to be making a move up to here next, probably fast if it does it, and then if we're resisting it here, we're looking to probably come back to at 4,100 at least. Okay, what do we do the next period? Oh, okay, sideways. Well, I mean, it didn't even go down below low. This is where you could be saying to yourself, okay, 63.50 is coming. Well, it's a good odds now. Next period, oh, a continuation pause, strengthening the prospect and probabilities for it. Even more so, even though it's a red candle down, that doesn't matter. It had a higher high. It's still staying above that line. And oh, then we have this one here, which has a nice green candle close higher, higher high, all that type of stuff. And we're not too far from this line. So everything we've been saying before, oh, making this move, well, it's live. Sometimes you just have to watch it go through. If I'm predicting a washing machine cycle is going through, and then it starts doing it, and you start watching it, well, sometimes a washing machine can do your load of laundry in 25 minutes. Sometimes you might have a really fast machine that can do it in 47 seconds. And sometimes you got a really slow machine that takes 3, 4 hours or 3, 4 days even to wash your clothes. And there we go. It's up to this point at 58.97. So it's continuing that. The clothes are still being washed, or the price is still in that active status of high probability odds of piercing extra above 63.42. And then looking at, I don't got many coins on here, but percentage gainers and losers since 8 o'clock the previous day. The Binance Bittrex arbitrage is live for. It'll be interesting how some of the differential of prices will lead there over the next about a week or so as wallets aren't online on Binance. You can't deposit or withdraw right now. And it's 19, 20, 32 on Bittrex for Komodo, and it's 2029 on Binance. The differential's been like this all day. Florin is hanging in there up on the 1754 handle against Bitcoin. AidCoin, after all of these nice little up move, it's hanging in there at the 18 average of lows at this point. So I'm either waiting for it to have a decent sized break higher, probably I got a sell order near the 18 average of highs, and a buy order, not till it comes back down to this previous level where it came from. So nothing going on there. Litecoin against the dollar. See, it's hanging in there more than anything at this 75 level. But a lot of these coins, Raven coin's been getting its ass kicked. Now down the 18 lows on the daily chart, of course, just heading lower. But when we take a look at the big losers like DGB at 172, just keeps on going lower. GRS is broken down below 6,000. But when you look back at GRS's history, it's like whenever it's ready, it has a 2 to 3x move over a span of a few hours or 2 to 3 days, over and over and over again. So it happened here on March the 12th. Here we have a nice little move on February the 7th where it went from like close to like a 1.8, 1.9x move here. And I'm going to discount this, but this is a nice move too, going from 58 up to 83. And this isn't that big of a move, I suppose. No, not even close. Here's one right here going from 53 up to 10 in a couple of days. This one was a smaller move here, but 97 up to, well, that's almost a 2x move right here, and it does it in a couple of days here. This one here in one day, it was its second move that it had. It went up from a low 91, a high of 28. That's a 3x move from low to high. And that was after we already had this move here, which had a low of almost 4 and then a high of about 15,000. So that was a 3x move in a couple of days. Before this, is this even much going from 53? It's whatever, not really. We have this move in here. Is this big enough? Well, we're going from 65 up to 16, so yes. We have this low here, this 6,300, and then a highs at 16.5. How about this move? We have a low at 55. We have a high at 13, so another 2x move in here. This one was just a beautiful one in 2017, where it goes from 1600 up to 92, down to 45, up to 20,000. Just a lot of amazing opportunities. Here was another good 2 day period, 3,900 up to 7,000. This day here, we have a low of 29, a high of 61. And you're there to, if you're alert to these markets, you have your orders ready in place, there can just be tremendous profit. But whenever you're playing whatever coins, you're basically betting that that coin's not going to get destroyed or get its ass kicked. Because if you're playing coins that can hold its own against Bitcoin, pretty much break even long term. If it chops up and down, but it stays around where you like this whatever entry point. Like say if you buy it now at like around 6,000. If it's 6,000 3 years from now and just keeps going up and down, that's ideal. That's amazing. And if you can get the coins that do that, a couple of them together, or even just trading this against Bitcoin solo, then you're going to be able to be making good moves because if you have your orders ready in here, oh, it's back in here, and even just going back to this point, let me eliminate this because I'm going to make this the last subject. Okay, I'm going to have my order in at like, I'll put one in at around 7,000 and one for close to a 2x move, so around 10,000. Oh, okay, so your 2x move might not have hit 93.83, but your other one would have. And what do you do when it comes back? Oh, you can buy. And so let's just assume you did buy here at like 58. Okay, let's put your sell order in at around 7 and then at around 11. Okay, well, there's your 7 fill, whatever, and then it comes back down, you buy. So you'll put it back up maybe at 8,000 and 12,000. Okay, this one didn't hit. That was for 8. Oh, so your 8,000 and 12,000 would have both hit. And then it comes back down. Do you buy your 12,000 back? Eek, I don't know. Well, now do you buy it back here? Eek, I don't know. Now do you buy it back now? And do you do it today? It's half off on the 12,000. But if you okay, I'm going to buy it back now. I sold say 300 of them. I just care about making as many of these coins. I'm going to buy like 610 because it's better than half off, and you can. Or I'm going to buy back 400, 450, and it's going to cost me less than what it did before. And maybe I'm just going to buy the 300 back. It'll cost me about half the price, and the other half of Bitcoin I'm just going to pocket. Those are different things you can do. Now, a little off subject. Just in case you were wondering, like myself, and you're not sure the answer to this, unfortunately, I think the answer is I don't know. But anyway, in the year 2417, do you think anyone is actually even going to listen to the Leanne Rhymes song that is called Big Deal? It's one of my favorite songs of all time. But the views that this gets compared to her more popular songs like Can't Fight the Moonlight and all the other ones, it's more of a rockish type of country, a harder, not a soft song, more. But I don't know if anyone's going to listen to it in that year, or even in the year 2515. There might not be a single person that will listen to that song in that year. And if that's the case, that means it goes unlistened. And then some crazy things people put on YouTube. This is just off topic again. Crazy access to the Indians' bullpen on Progressive Field from Zach Campbell. There's so many different video ideas you can do that can do very well. Going to like 100 baseball games a year. Interesting. And then if you have the personality, this guy is funny. If you do food reviews, you got like this guy gets 1.5 million views just reviewing Popeyes cheddar biscuit butterfly shrimp. The guy is funny though. The guy is funny. It's got nothing to do with cryptos. And then on a search for Beast, spending 24 hours in a city with no laws, giving $10,000 to random people and saying nothing. There's this. I think this guy does a video where he'll give like $10,000 random to streamers, tip $10,000 here, just give a whole bunch of fiat debt notes away, and then you get 10 million views. That kind of funds it. 8 million views. There's a lot of things that are available. This LA Beast guy is pretty funny, but I don't know what he was doing in this bowl game. He lost, but he ate a whole bunch of cactuses before he went into the game, and I don't understand that. And do they drug test these people? I've taken drugs before in the past that can double, triple what I normally would eat. They got a drug test. If they don't, then it's so easy to cheat. The Beast on Millionaire 2006. This guy's one of my favorite game show guys. But one of my favorite ones, and then this is that Beast guy again. He is funny. This is totally off topic, but currently on Jeopardy, James Holzhauer, and I might have pronounced that wrong. I've watched a little bit of the show too. This is 7 minutes ago from MLB Network. I'm probably gonna watch this actually. This guy is cool. He's a sports gambler, so I know a lot of the type of stuff he's talking about. He really understands ROI, return on investment type of thinking. I like his aggressive play, but it's not like the strategies that he's been doing has been something. I knew that stuff back in 1990 when I was watching this show. You got to be fast with a button. You got to pick the larger amounts first. That's what the daily doubles are. So I was thinking back in like watching this in 88, 89, 90 when I was like 13 years old, 12 years old. Why don't you go for the bigger numbers first? Because you don't. It's on the bottom two usually the daily doubles. Maybe the middle one. It's never on the top two ones. So he goes for the lower ones, and then you got to be damn good at knowing what you're doing. Which to me, that's what stopped me from becoming a pure all-time, the best Jeopardy player of all time. That's what stopped me. Let alone the fact that it stopped me from even not only being on the show, but even qualifying on it. Because when I watch Jeopardy, I can get maybe 6 to 7 answers right per show. which is more than other people that I've watched it with. And some, I mean, some don't get any, or only a couple. He's a cool guy anyway. Anyway, back to cryptos. One channel that I like is Crypto Blood. This guy is pretty damn cool. Uh, 2 hours ago, the most disappointing thing happened in Bitcoin. I haven't watched this one yet. This is good, just 2 hours ago. Third Ethereum 2.0 testnet launches. This is who I learned from, Brian Shannon. He put a video out 2 hours ago. It's on the stock market, so I probably won't watch it. But a lot of the ideas that I've went through, a lot of things I talked about have been changed, not changed, but more towards how within my direction. I've made his ideas my own, basically. I made my ideas from his ideas. And how about those Toronto Raptors? They defeated the Philadelphia 76ers to take a 3 games to 2 series lead. I don't think they can beat Milwaukee, though. The Angry Video Game Nerd is a really funny guy. I watched the first couple, 3 minutes of this. I'm really not into it, though. This is Pepsi Man for the PlayStation 1. He started doing these videos before even YouTube even began. And he put them online, and then he put them up to YouTube, and he became a huge star, going over old video games and building his own character along the way. And it's quite enjoyable, especially his original first 100 or 200 reviews. And if you want to know how close asteroid Apophis will come to Earth, there's a 4 minute video that will do it. We'll show it. BTC Sessions. This is another good Bitcoin site. 20 hours ago, I didn't see this one. Bitcoin Fee Crunch, a new BIP Satoshi Countdown. And I don't know why I just did that for many minutes, but just something to do. But will people, and I probably should have wrote those numbers down because I just picked a random year in my head, but will people even care about that Leanne Rimes Big Deal song? Will it just fade out of existence? Will it even be watched during the entire 29th century at any given point by any given human? Only time will tell. And I'll never know because I'll be dead by then, as will everyone else watching this video. Unless, of course, no, maybe not. Will anyone watch this video after the year 20, any of my videos for that matter? Will anyone watch any of my videos in the year 2800 or the 28th century? Probably not, but possibly so. Take care. Bye bye.